So, what am I? Just start talking about whatever?
So this is about coal, U.S. coal coming to Canada. Specifically, we're going to be sending messages into the head of the Air Quality Department of Metro Vancouver to try and get them to not issue a permit to Fraser Docks, which has been they're already building it. It's an 8 million ton coal port in the middle of a major urban area. It would never even got off the ground if it was here because of the Clean Water and Clear Act. It just never would happen. So anything about coal itself.
Okay. Well, I don't know much about the chemicals. I don't know much about stuff that's going to be released that's harmful. All of it is bad for you. There's no good in any of this, and no one's making any money, which is really. It doesn't make sense why you would bring so much through at such a high cost to life and communities and get hardly nothing for it. I mean, you at least want to make a profit, so that doesn't make sense at all. But what I do know about is fire. I've seen firsthand the really devastating impact even a small fire can have. I lived on a farm. It was more of a menagerie. It wasn't really a working farm in the sense that it produced something that you could make a profit off of. What we produced was happiness, good quality of life. We had horses and llamas and goats and ducks and dogs and cats and everything you can imagine on a farm that you would want and picture in like a fairy book kind of farm. April of 2000, faulty wiring switch. Could have killed my mom the night before, but she chose not to flip it, so she didn't. It sparked in the middle of the night, and I woke up because there was too much light in my bedroom. Didn't face the barn area, but it was just the whole sky was lit up, and all these cars were parked outside our house, so we all ran outside to see what was going on, and it was 100-plus-year-old barn, so it was really, really old, and it was just awesome. I've never seen a fire. You see them on TV, but it's not really the same. It's the sound, the glass exploding. I mean, firefighters were ducking for cover. We got firefighters from 6 different counties because this blaze was so big you could see it out of Columbus. This was in Ohio. Our horse was able to break through his stall door, wood door, and break through the thick wooden sliding door at the back of the barn, and he was screaming. And they've tried to replicate the sound in movies where horses are damaged and like War Horse or something like that, but they can't get the quality of terror that is in that sound, and it goes right to your soul and it cuts it in half. And we couldn't catch him. He was blinded because he had damaged himself getting out. And he just raced all around the backfield, back and forth in circles, screaming. And it went on for a long time because we couldn't catch him. And you try stepping in front of a horse to stop him, it's not going to happen. So I ran down the road. I ran about a half mile to the next house to try to get a halter and a lead rope, try to catch him. Meanwhile, fire trucks are screaming and the sky is lit up. It was hot. You could feel the heat from way far back. And we caught him. The vet had to come, put him down. His internal injuries, blinded, deaf, bleeding everywhere. He was burned. The smell of burned flesh was just very distinguishable from the fire. So they couldn't put it out. It was so hot. It just burned and it burned and it burned all night long, and it was mesmerizing in its beauty. And it wanted to pull you closer, but at the same time drive you back because it was so hot. We lost our animals. We lost a place that held a lot of good memories for me, and it really devastated our quality of life for a long time until we built a new barn and had new animals. My mom cried every day. A place that I was used to going and taking care of and exploring and adventuring in was gone. Kids made fun of me at school, actually. Oh, it made the news. But they didn't realize that, our hearts were broken. This is a huge chunk and important part of our life that was just gone. Is timbers and ash and the smell of the hay that had been upstairs caught fire and fell on all the animals below. And you can stop me whenever you want. And so it kind of insulated them. If you think of like a smoker, maybe you keep the heat on top of the meat and it cooks it. And when we walked through the rubble, we found our llama and our goat roasted, and it was just the most god-awful smell. And Yellow Jackets arrived, and you could hear the buzzing from the house. It was so loud because they were eating. It was just disgusting. But everything was still so hot, we couldn't go in and like pour gasoline on top of them and burn them.
Let's give him that chance, but what I'm saying is,
It was
if that's where this takes
It was
us,
heartbreaking.
God
And
bless.
I live in the Columbia Gorge. I live on the back of Augsburger Mountain in Mill A, Washington. We're surrounded by trees. It's a lumber company's paradise. It's where a lot of the lumber comes from down near Willard and all that area, and it comes down through the gorge and is exported out.
You have enough?
If an oil train, if a coal train, something happened, a fire started, it would sweep right up the mountainside. I mean, so fast. We're not allowed to have fires for most of the year. We're not allowed to burn anything, use chainsaws even, because the risk is so high. Our road, there's only two ways to access our house. It's a big loop that starts on Highway 14 outside of White Salmon, or Bingen rather, and it loops around. Big 10-mile stretch. It loops around and it comes down past Drano Lake. And so if there's a fire and we're cut off, we have no way to get down off the mountain. We're stuck. There's nowhere we can go except higher, maybe to Willard, and then even then, where do you go? You can't get out of Willard. You really are stuck. The risk of fire is huge. I don't think that it's worth having all this oil, coal, anything that's at the least bit flammable. It's not worth it to the animals, who won't have anywhere to run either. And it'll just sweep everything. Communities will be destroyed, and it won't be horses we hear screaming or llamas and goats we hear afterward. It's going to be houses, families, memories. I'm really lucky that I didn't have to watch, our animals burn to death. That would be even more soul-scarring than what did happen, that I did live through, but it could happen for people and their families. It's not a pleasant thought. I wouldn't like that kind of future in anyone's near future. So I think that it's not good for the people, it's not good for the animals, it's not good for the wildlife and the trees and anything around us. If it's that bad of a thing to have come through our gorge, and we definitely don't want it. Shouldn't even be an option. No one should have to live through that. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
That was very long and drawn